Greetings, humanity, and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim. I use he/him pronouns, and this is the Inner Circle, one of the story arcs in our Waking Nightmares campaign of Don't Rest Your Head, a game by Fred Hicks of Evil Hat Productions. This is a supernatural horror game in which the player characters have been awake for so long that they can freely interact with a realm of living nightmares. Sorry, it took us a little longer to get started tonight as I had to shuffle some things around. As you can see, we are down a couple of players tonight, but we have things we can do. So we're gonna go ahead and see what things we do tonight. We're gonna go around and say hi to everyone so they can tell us who they are and who they're playing. And tonight we will start with Alyssa. Hello.
Hello. My name is Alyssa. I am your friendly virtual spinner of yarns and teller of tall tales, also known as shawl tales on the internet. And tonight I will be playing the stressed out songstress Lila Mendelsohn. Currently enjoying her third visit to the Nightmare City.
Yes.
Sitting at a booth, rather uncomfortably close to one of the off-duty clockwork police officers.
Yes. I'm sure it's fine.
It's probably nothing.
Probably fine.
Yeah, it's probably going to be all right. I don't see why there are going to be any problems arising from that. Now let us head over to Olivia. Hello.
Hey, everybody. I am Olivia. I can be found online at Cry Out Olivia. And yeah, this evening I am going to be playing Dawson. I was desperately trying to come up with a good alliteration like you had for like you had, and I can't. My brain's not there tonight. But I am playing Dawson, the very tired mathematician and grad student who's experiencing the Mad City for the first time and kind of loving it. So far, so good.
Excellent. I'm sure that it's. I'm sure an attachment to the Mad City is perfectly healthy.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right, as a reminder, as we unfortunately waves of real life have hit us, so neither Ben nor Sarah are able to be with us tonight, but hopefully all will be well and they'll be able to be with us next time. In the meantime, like we do with all the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. And if we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else. Hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that's okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say we do something and then think maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break as long as anybody needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game has the potential for discussions of physical and mental debilitation, insomnia, death, law enforcement, nightmares, body horror, being stalked and chased by supernatural beings, and other horrific themes. The game has mechanics related to states arising from sleep deprivation, referred to in-game as exhaustion, madness, scars, and fight-or-flight responses, but places the expression of those states squarely in the hands of the players. You can see that at any time in chat by typing !DRYH, that's Don't Rest Your Head, CW for content warning. And that'll show up. That's also going to be on regular rotation, so that'll show up periodically as we go. Also, please remember we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It is just a game, and mental health is always more important. So, what do we have happening? Well, last time, our awake, our people who are terribly, terribly awake, very awake, awake with a capital
Forever
A.
awake.
Yes. They were on a metro train heading through Anchorage, Alaska. This is in the near future, by the way, when such a thing has been constructed. It's not exactly Anchorage. It's similar to, but legally distinct from Anchorage. But we're just calling it Anchorage because that's, it's a very similar name. It's spelled with an extra E somewhere that's silent. But anyway, they're on a train. They notice some odd things happening a little bit, reality distorting a little bit. But then again, when you've been awake for as long as they have, who knows? Who knows whether what you're seeing is real or not? But they went into a tunnel, and then the train started going faster, and then started rocking strangely. It finally managed to jolt to a stop. I say jolt. It's kind of, it's the kind of slow stop that happens when something incredibly strong and metallic pushes up against the front of it and causes it to slow down. That thing. But they eventually stopped in a mysterious station. I believe the name of the station is Station. If I recall correctly.
Station Keyboard Smash.
Yes, Station Keyboard Smash. I'm not entirely sure I pronounced it correctly, but it's close to that. It's close to that. Here I'll post the pronunciation in the chat just so folks can see the spelling of the station, just so they're aware. Let me grab that real quick. There we go. And so they pulled into this station. As it turned out, and this is after the earlier train car, the train cars behind them had gotten wrenched away by something. And
they're probably fine.
I'm sure they're fine. We know that we're going to see at least one of those train cars again, because there's at least one PC in there that hasn't showed up yet. But anyway, spoilers. Oh God, spoilers. But possibly. We don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? But they stopped at this station. They got out. They managed to get a look at the thing that had slowed the train, stopped the train, and it was a strange, metallic, monstrous creature that was eating the front of the train a little bit. This was about 2 or 3 people in size, and it started pursuing them, laughing. It just sort of hopped up onto the platform and started rolling after them. So they managed to flee it. They were trying to race out of the station. There was a door they had to push to open. Isabel was there and saw a version of herself, the mirror, trying to help her out. But about like a crawler loader type deal, almost. This thing was starting to follow them down these tunnels, these strange sort of sewer tunnels that this station led out into. they manage to get down a narrower passage to delay it, and right smack into the edge of the territory of the Wax King. There are a couple of Wax Knights standing there, or hanging out there, actually passing through there, seeing them and be like, demanded that they pay a toll. Dawson stepped forward and paid a toll for them to get through. It was a memory of a landscape, which they accepted. Sent them on their way, telling them not to come back through this way. So they were able, in that way, to get away from the Train Eater. Which, actually, they had seen evidence as they were leaving the station that actually was the smaller of 2 Train Eaters that were in the vicinity. As they are. As these things happen. Lila was receiving directions through the sewers. I don't know if we've mentioned what the entity... No, we did. We did mention who the entity is. I don't think it was mentioned to the PCs, possibly. The other PCs. But Lila was receiving directions through the sewers from a nightmare that she had previously encountered, known as the Broadcast. Who was helping her because it amused him, apparently.
Oh, a nightmare, you say?
What else would I be talking to down here?
Huh.
I mean, it could be a nightmare. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know who it is. It's a nightmare.
Okay.
I'm sure everything will be just fine. But
Dawson just thinks I'm reaching a certain age where I start losing my cookies.
well, I mean, you have an earbud, so I mean, it's. I'm sure it's perfectly reasonable to assume you're talking to someone on that thing. But that said, found their way to Club Absolute, which is a kind of a speakeasy-like private club that just appeared in the sewers, off on this sort of side area that was much cleaner. They walked in, and there are signs up saying that it's under new management. Those who have watched this channel for a long time have seen Club Absolute before, but it was a while ago, and it was managed by certain people. It is no longer managed by those people. But you're able to go in and see this place. It still has instrument people, basically musical instrument people. Who are there performing or hanging out. All number of mostly regular human-looking people, but a few people that were also somewhat animalistic. I believe the bartender was an ox, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
And there was a booth full of people wearing these masks, these sort of reflective masks that if you got to within a certain distance of them, they looked exactly like you. Several of them looked like Isabel, because apparently they just think Isabel is really cool. But they
so trendy.
Yeah, exactly. She's very trendy. But on their way out, the Lila, Dawson, and Isabel found a booth, sat down. They were offered free martinis, because they're giving martinis away because of the construction right now, basically, since the new owner hasn't quite. Well, we'll talk about that. We don't. The new owner's not there yet. But still moving in. New owner's still moving in. That's what I was looking for. they found that the menus, though the drink menus at least, change to their favorite drinks whenever they look at them. But on their way out, the people wearing the masks just sort of offered a tip that perhaps they might want to get out of here before the clockwork police officer sitting at the next booth gets off is done being off duty, and goes on duty again because they're pretty sure he's going to report them. They left a card, specifically giving it to Isabel, but everyone could see it, and the card, as I recall, said, "Be your best self. The Society of Angles." And that is where we left off. We're here in Club Absolute. There's a little bit of that going on in the background. There's a little bit of a clock ticking in the background. Just the one. As there are some people at the next table sitting with this individual with clocks in his eyes, has a key in his back. But it seems fairly pleasant. I mean, they're perfectly happy to take your orders if you want to order anything. You each also have a martini. Two of you got green martinis, and one of you got a pinkish red martini. I can't remember who got what, alas. But
mine is green.
Yours is green.
I think mine is green as well. I think Izzy got the pink martini.
That makes sense. She would. But yes, you're here at this delightful speakeasy-like club, just kind of hanging out.
I don't remember if Izzy did either, but I don't think. What does this martini actually taste like? This green martini. Is it an apple-tini?
Well, ooh, that's interesting. Okay.
Oh dear.
It's So here's the thing. You taste this. It does taste kind of like an appletini. But you're starting to get a feeling that it's a very light feeling. It's not an extreme feeling. But I should say it's a feeling that rolls in with the same sort of warmth that one does when one drinks alcohol. And so it's relative entirely to how much of this you drink and so how strong that is for you, right? Is Dawson much of a drink? How is Dawson at drinking?
Probably not great. She doesn't get invited to a lot of parties. Like,
this will be fun.
Martinis are not the strongest beverage, if I recall correctly, but they do have a certain little bit, right? So it's not like it's not. Jim's okay. Wait. Jim's going to really.
She's not drinking whiskey neat.
Yeah, you're not drinking whiskey neat or anything like that. This is an appletini adjacent drink. But you do have this feeling that you have, right? That is washing through you, at least mildly, depending on how good you are at drinking. Or rather, how good you are at. You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't find
Your
the words.
tolerance.
Your tolerance.
Your
Thank you. Your alcohol tolerance. Good God. Depending on your alcohol tolerance, this will be either a stronger or a lesser effect. But you feel this great appreciation for the truth and telling the truth that washes through you to that degree. Only to the degree that you would be feeling drunk from an appletini.
Okay. So like a little bit. So yeah, like a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Dawson drinks most of it. Like as we're sitting here, this weird stuff's happening.
Yeah.
It's here. Should we like get out of here though? Because of the. And I'll like cut eyes over to the side booth. Whatever that.
We should probably keep moving.
Okay.
You're playing that game with the board and the pegs that are different colors. Do you know which game I'm talking about?
Cribbage.
It's not
Or
cribbage,
Mastermind.
but it's what's the one that's the triangle? Little wooden triangle.
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
I also don't know what name.
I have forgotten what I've played it, but it's been years. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, they're playing that.
Is there a reason? Are you a criminal? Are we criminals? And I'll kind of like point to Izzy, like Izzy and I, where she's kind of pressed up against me in the booth.
You're not. No.
Okay.
I might not be their favorite person.
Okay. So a quick exit then. All right, and I'm gonna look at the rest of this drink and just like take it.
Does Lila drink anything?
Yes.
Okay. Out of curiosity, how much? Well, I'm going to ask a couple of questions here. First of all, how much of the appletini do you drink?
Probably to the point where she starts to feel, assuming her green one has the same effect as Dawson's green one, to the point where she starts to feel a little more than usually chatty.
Yeah. You will notice that Isabel looks slightly more vibrant and alive. But she's not saying much. She's being very noncommittal right now. Almost as though her player wasn't here. But yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you order any other drinks? I am just curious.
I think after we get that card, it's probably like a.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we should leave if you're a criminal and like we're gonna be associated with crime with you. I can't get arrested. I'm already under investigation for other things. Arson mostly. I can't. It's gonna look really bad. Strange. haven't actually said that to anybody before. I like this place. That drink was strong. We should go.
We should go.
All right, Dawson's gonna like hands on counter and just stand up
Well,
really forcefully and like, well,
Lila will, because it seems polite, rifle through her pockets for something interesting to leave on the table as a tip.
Ooh, okay. How interesting a thing do you want to leave?
You know, let's see what Lila would have in her pockets would be she won't leave the tuning fork. That's kind of important and sentimental. She might have some extra guitar picks, or she might take a charm bracelet off her wrist and leave that, or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so probably I expect the charm bracelet would have more personal meaning for you than the guitar pick. You can do either one. But I'm a little curious. Unless they're like guitar picks you personalized or something like that, which is possible.
Right.
But
let's say
I'm good with either one. I just need to know which.
It's like a charm bracelet that has various sort of musical sort of paraphernalia, including like a guitar pick and various, like, there's probably a guitar charm, probably like a little coffee mug charm, maybe so yeah, it's probably got some personal stuff.
So, yeah.
Perhaps related to her previous experiences in the city.
Okay. So,
whether this is a tip or a calling card or a warning, take your pick.
So, as
a threat,
something you kind of notice at this point. You've been here twice already, so you're bound to start noticing this kind of stuff. A tiny bit of your essence is going to go into it when you leave it here, because that's just the nature of this place.
Yes.
If it's not something that you are, you come to you understand that then so that it's the piece of your essence is not going to be huge, just something surrounding. Something that you learned when around the time that you were getting this charm bracelet. Not the memory, but maybe like part of a feeling that you had is going to be gone. Not so much of it that you can't kind of call it back to mind, but you're kind of, in this case, it's really you're just doing a tip, so you're sharing that feeling. So you're not bereft of it. But there's a little bit less of it than there was before.
Just sort of takes the edge off.
Yes. I'm sure that'll be perfectly good for you.
Perfectly fine.
Yes, absolutely. As you are heading out, the waitress is going to kind of be is sort of circuiting, and she just sort of, she'll see you and say, well, I hope you had a pleasant experience. Just so you'll know, like I said, we're still working on the place, so it might be somewhere else when you come back.
Good to know.
Like in a different location, I'll say, like, as we're walking at, like, what?
Yes, that does happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, we're making some changes. It might shift around a little bit.
Interesting. And she's gonna like start writing something in a notepad again.
Also, I hear and she sort of leans in conspiratorially. Also, I hear there's kind of some territorial stuff going on. So, new owner's just trying to kind of figure out the dynamic. I think that's all. Could pop up any number of places actually. New owner's very fluid with that kind of thing.
We'll keep that in mind. It's been great so far.
So glad you think so.
I love the martinis.
Thanks so much. No, I helped work on that. Well, feel free to go.
Also, you have really pretty eyes. I'm sorry. That's an improvement. We'll go now.
She's not completely taken aback because she kind of, I think, remembers which martinis you got. Take care. So.
As we're heading out, I sort of glance over at Dawson and say, well, at least you're not vibrating like one of my last friends that ended up here with me. Not this club, but the city. The coffee's really strong.
Okay. No coffee then. Yeah, what? Okay. So, should we head to this bizarre place? Or is there somewhere we can keep a low profile that you know of?
It kind of depends. It might be a little difficult for us to keep a low profile under the circumstances, but we can certainly try.
Is there something? Okay.
For example, if we assume that the world we came from resonates at a frequency that corresponds with, say, middle C, here is kind of like an F sharp. So we're a little bit dissonant.
Out of tune, yeah. That makes sense, yeah.
The locals tend to notice that sort of thing after a while.
Interesting. Is it bad? Are they hostile? Are we?
Depends.
Okay,
They're
great.
Kind of like people.
Oh. So hard to understand and mostly annoying. Okay, I get it.
Kind of a mixed bag.
Where
are we back in the sewers again, Jim?
Yeah, you're at the entrance to the to Club Absolute, which is got several sort of larger kind of slabs of stone making up the wall, big bricks basically making up the wall, and walls that sort of lead in sort of narrow, and the exit from here is round, and it's the entrance back to the sewers.
And it doesn't look like there's any other way to, we have to go back into the sewers to get anywhere else, basically.
Yeah, from here, yes.
Okay. Let's get to it then.
Yeah. Eventually, we should be able to find a junction that will take us up.
We are beginning to navigate the Warrens. So I'm going to set a for figuring out how to get out of the Warrens from here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to set a pain rating of. Trying to remember where this was last time. I mean, it doesn't matter where this was last time. The city has changed several times since then. I'm going to set a pain rating of 4.
Okay.
So, you can, again, you know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to, if you wish, bump your exhaustion up ahead of time. You can use 1 to 6 madness if you want.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to lead that, Alyssa, or if you want me to.
I would assume that Lila's kind of taking the lead, so I can do it.
Cool.
Dawson, if you would like to help, you can also roll. We will only use your discipline dice toward the success. But any result of the roll does fall on you as well, if you decide.
Yes, I'll help then. Yeah. I forgot there was an assist mechanic in this. Yeah. I'm still learning this game. Sorry,
Yeah, no
guys.
worries.
All good.
And so you can also, let me basically go into your sheet and, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
When you're ready, you can also go into your sheet and just do a roll.
Perfect. Oops. I'm gonna have to just roll on the chat, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah, it's 3d6.
Not working for me.
Oh, I think it's slash
Yeah.
R on this one.
Sorry, technical difficulties forever. All right. 1 success.
Okay, yeah, so that success is going to contribute. But that pool doesn't contribute to anything that's dominating. Let me go ahead and roll the pain so I can see what's happening there. Okay, so you folks all collectively got 3 successes. I got no successes. Let's see what's dominating. It looks like pain is dominating, because I do have a 6.
It usually does.
Yeah.
It does tend to dominate. It does tend to. Now I must decide if I want to use any of these delightful coins of despair to adjust that. I will say in the game the way it normally is played, you clean out hope and despair every session. I do not do that because I have a tendency to run games in a very slow fashion. I think comparatively. So A lot of times there's not enough time to spend the things. So I leave them from session to session when I'm doing short narratives like this. But, that said, do I want to throw... it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. I can't throw enough to make a difference. So, I'll just take the despair token. Coin of despair. So I've now got 4 coins of despair. And, so... yeah, you're gonna... as you are traveling through... you're gonna note that there are gonna be points where you can hear something similar. It sounds again like you think. It's harder to tell. And this is not a grimy sewer. This is a fairly clean sewer as these things go. At least this part of it is. But from time to time, you're going to hear this kind of a sound not unlike the sound of the train eater moving, sort of when he was rolling. It's similar, at least. You're not sure, but it's kind of echoing a bit, and sometimes it's hard to tell what direction it's coming from. There you get the sense there is something nearby as you are finding your way out. And that, for whatever reason, it's not coming right up to you, whatever it is. But it is about.
Okay. Does it seem like it's actively following us, or it just happens to be in the vicinity?
At first, you think it just happens to be in the vicinity. Then, after a while, it's like this thing has to be following you, whatever it is. You know, every time you look around, you don't see anything. It's never like in direct line of sight, whatever it is. So whatever is following you is perhaps doing it by sound.
Okay. Delightful.
But you are going to reach a point where you're going to see kind of off to one side a corridor that goes down a ways, and at the end of it you think you see a set of stairs going up.
That seems as good a way as any. Yeah, up is good. Not being in these sewers anymore is good.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
as we're heading up the stairs, I will kind of try to put my feelers out to see if I need to be wary of anything upwards and ahead of us, besides whatever's
Yeah.
gotten curious about us in the sewer.
So, a couple of things happen. Kind of are heading down the corridor. Kind of hear the dripping sound, and as you are... seems like there are like growths, almost like of mold on the walls between the bricks. It gets very much feels and smells more sort of rotted a little bit, this area you're passing through. And you hear behind you it's a little strange what you kind of see is you see this kind of decayed, sort of mottled brick area that has what looked like a bunch of it's not exactly graffiti. It's more like if Jackson Pollock were doing graffiti. It's a bunch of different colors, but very faded. It's a trace of someone painted something here a long time ago. And the sound behind you ends abruptly in this sort of weird kind of squelch. And there's a moment of, like, this... And there's the sound of some sort of struggling, perhaps. Like... Far behind you.
Move quicker down the corridor.
You get to the stairs. As you reach the stairs, you hear the squelching sound again, and it sounds like it's getting closer. Not rapidly, but it sounds like the squelching sound is starting to follow you a little bit.
As we get to the stairs and like start ascending, does anything like come into? I'll go up the stairs backwards even just to see if anything is.
Isabella's basically going to launch herself up the stairs to get out. I think at this point probably. But you're watching to see if anything's coming. Watching to see as you're coming up backwards. Okay. It takes a little bit because it's. As you're getting higher and higher up, and you think that there's something above you, an opening above you, but it's like you do see in the distance, down at the far end, kind of where the intersection was that you turned from. It's hard to see because it is not terribly well lit. But you do see what looks like this kind of blobby thing, this blob squelching thing that you can't get a fix on what color it is. It's like someone made it's maybe like a really multi-patchwork quilt as far as the colors go. A lot of different colors in it. You think? Maybe?
Someone just squished together a bunch of Play-Doh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like that. And it's like sort of rolling forward in the direction down the corridor toward you. Very slowly. There's you're going to be out of here before it gets even, a third of the way.
Especially because I'm going to turn and yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Probably at least a quarter
of the way now. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. You start running up the stairs.
Something tells me that Lila turns around long enough to make sure Dawson is coming, and in that time, Izzy has taken off into the city somewhere.
Izzy has passed you, and is run up the stairs through this. At the top, there is essentially there's an opening that in the ceiling that the stairs go up through. Big sort of wide rectangular opening, from which can be heard, sounds of the street, as it were.
Get ready. This is gonna get weirder.
Yes.
Dawson doesn't literally do the like fingers together excellent, but like eyes get a little bigger, just like, okay, let's go.
So the thing at the end of the corridor like seems to almost be trying to stand up maybe a little bit as you're leaving this. But that's all you hear, that's all you see. You turn and you dash up into the night. Into an area just on a street corner. So, as you come onto this street corner, you can see that it is at what could be considered a fairly big intersection. You see that this intersection is not. First off, just so you're aware, this intersection does not have a policeman controlling traffic. I say for you who have been here before. Cars are going back and forth. So where you are, there is, I think something of a, yeah, you sort of are coming up. It's like you're coming up out of a, out of a space where that can be covered by a big metal grate or a big metal, two big metal doors, lie flat on the ground when they're closed. They are open.
Yeah, like sewage access or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. You look around, and you're going to see a few things. These cars that are going by, the first thing that you're going to notice on this street, it's a fairly wide street to your left. There's a street to your left intersecting with a street that's in front of you, I will say. A slightly smaller street in front of you, but it's still what looks like probably a major road. This portal you're coming up through, this area you're coming up through, these cars look like they are from all manner of different eras. So like a modern Subaru goes past, and right after it looks like a hearse from around the early 1900s. There's actually a gentleman in a top hat who is with gray flesh, who looks like he's slightly rotting, who tips his hat to you as the hearse proceeds on, as he's riding on the back. There is, but then you see station wagons. You see sport utility vehicles. You see cars that look like they're from a few elegant cars that look like they're from like the 30s, 40s. Big rounded Art Deco cars. There are a few kind of art car looking things here also. You notice mostly going by on the street in front of you, passing by. To the left, it's more of a mix of different styles. In front of you, it's more sort of cheaper vehicles, kind of looks like. Smaller vehicles. The street also in front of you, I should point out, is cobblestoned, whereas the street to the left of you is paved. It is night. The buildings that you see, this is the next thing you note, are kind of at strange angles. Some of them sort of seem to lean forward. Some of them seem to twist a little bit the further up you get. It's kind of a subtle effect, because they're functional buildings. But as you look up, some of the buildings you can almost, if you stare at them long enough, you can swear they're swinging back and forth. But just a wee bit. Some of the angles of some of these buildings, that if you look at them, some of the corners don't look quite right. And the building that you are coming up kind of next to, out of this, on the block that you're on, looks very much like looks actually like it's a garage. And it's the sort of garage you would find in a city. There's deep sort of dark stone sort of makes up this building, but it looks like, there's a bunch of big ports that open up, and large vehicles can come in and out. And you see what actually looks like, from the road to your left, turning in and into one of them, is what looks like a school bus, a yellow school bus. You see, with something inside of it, you see several different things here, though. It's like across from you, it's the buildings are also incongruous. They also seem to be from different eras, different architectural styles. It's like you have Art Deco, but you also have like more brutalist stuff. You've got some very modern looking buildings. You've got some buildings that look like they could be, colonial era looking buildings. Across from you, you see what look like it's just sort of on the corner ahead of you, you see what looks like it's a small theater of some kind, like a movie theater, and sort of an older style movie theater. There's an older style marquee on it. You see that to your left, there's what actually across the street, the buildings start looking a lot more like older churches. Made of sort of the old marble, old stone spires. Diagonally across from you, you look at you see there are grocery stores and like some type of electronics store. And then there's what looks like a place where people shoe horses. And there is at least a sign. There is some signage here. But I'll get to that in a moment. The people, I should explain a little bit about the people. A lot of them look, again, like they're dressed like people of many different eras. You have people who look like they, and it goes all the way back to like the 1800s-ish, maybe earlier. Every now and then you'll see someone wearing a cravat, or someone wearing or someone with a lot of more ruffles on them. So maybe, they might be earlier. They might be 1700s. But most of the people that you see here are from somewhere, are an array of somewhere between the 1800s and present day. You see people wearing, modern sweaters. You see people, there's a group of people wearing one of those big sweaters that multiple people can fill. Look like a multi-headed creature, if they so desire. But then some of the people also look slightly not human, or very not human. You're gonna see there's this family of weasels sort of walks past, crosses on your left across the street and goes into the movie theater. They are wearing, they're dressed very nicely. They're wearing kind of just the what looks like the father is wearing a sort of one of those velvet brown coats with patches on the elbows. So you know they're the family of weasels going to see a movie. You have people that there's what looks like a very large shoe following someone who seems to be walking it on a leash. You see on the corner near the theater, you see a little newspaper stand, like sort of with what looks kind of like a paper mache kid selling newspapers. It's shaped like a child, but it's made of newspapers. You see again across the street.
Remember the paper boy?
Yeah. Yes. There's a paper boy there. You see diagonally across there are, again there's some tall spindly people with antlers. You see near the grocery store there's someone who looks like they're a big sprig of broccoli. And all manner of people, strange, someone with a clay pot for a head. There are all manner of very strange-looking people here. You can swear, just sort of looking to your left across the street, there's just somebody who looks like a vampire. Just casually, full Nosferatu type vampire, just casually walking along down the street. And actually kind of crosses to the other side to the stores when he gets kind of closer to some of these more church-like buildings. Best to stay away from those. For him anyway. So there are clergy actually looking people over there also, people wearing sort of long black robes. If you turn and you look down the street, I realize this is getting to be a very long description, but I swear I'm almost done. You turn and you look down.
Izzy and Dawson's first time. They got to take it all in.
And we got at least one more of these. That's one or two more of these that's going to happen next session. You turn and you look down the street. Behind you, right? This major street, that's paved street to your left. I'll say that, far ahead you can't really tell, it goes off down between these blocks and there's perhaps less city in that direction, smaller buildings. But where it goes behind you, more city, bigger buildings. And it goes all the way to what looks like a big central square, which is circular. A big circular square that you can just barely see. Oh, you can actually see it pretty well. Across at the end of this big block, this big district, whatever it is, and you see, there are probably a lot of cars turning in there, going around and around in this roundabout. But there's this big dark clock tower at the center of it. Looks kind of Big Ben-ish. And as it rises up above the city to a point where no matter where you are in the city, you can probably see it. For the most part, there may be places where you can't. But you see the clock, and its face has 13 numbers. It is getting close to 11. Welcome to the Mad City.
We did it!
What would you like to do?
So we've got a little over 2 hours before the city changes.
Like, does the rearranging thing you talked
Yes.
about. Do we need to, like, get somewhere before that happens, or no?
Ideally, I would want to get out of the city. But that's not necessarily going to happen. And if we have to, we can probably survive it. It's just gonna get a little bit hectic when that happens.
Okay. Then get out. We can get out and go back to
Anchorage.
Anchorage.
Oh, I'm so mad now.
Thrilling.
Yes.
You have to say it
The
just like a
longer
little
we
bit of
stay here,
aspiration.
the more likely we are to stand out and, attract attention.
Okay.
Might not want.
Yeah. Isabella at this point, by the way, has already seems fascinated by this place and has wandered already over across to there's signage. I should explain. I mentioned there's signage. There is there's a sign to your right for the block that you're on. Actually, that you're probably going to see in a moment. To your left, across to your left, near the church-like buildings, you see there's a fairly big sign that says Penitence District. Across from that, again, diagonally to your left, you will see a sign that says Market District. So, Lila, that district looks slightly familiar to you. Across from you, you'll see there's a sign at that corner that says Drama District. And you kind of have to look around. There's a pole nearby that you can kind of see, crane around to see the district corner that you're on. And it says Re-Education District.
So we want to avoid that.
Yeah, that doesn't.
And we probably don't want to end up in the hospital district either. I think I have a pretty outdated map on my phone that isn't going to help us much.
I mean, Market sounds the safest of those 4 options.
Maybe.
But again, yes, I've never been here, and none of this really seems very safe.
It's really not.
Great. That's great. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna I think yeah, maybe. I think we just pick a direction and go, right?
So I presume you're heading in the market direction?
Sure.
Yeah. So there is a large crowd of people. This is... It is a... how do I describe this? It's pretty... This is the most walkable district. there are cars in it, but they have the hardest time getting around. So you have every now and then you'll have, so the older vehicles are more the ones that you see on this street, like handsome cabs, the occasional penguin-driven calliope, and Model Ts, that kind of thing. Newer cars can drive on it, of course, but it's a little bumpy for them. There are, you see here, you see vendors, street artists, street performers. There are more of those in the district behind you, but this district does have some of them. Of all manner of different stores that are here. All manner of different all manner of different folks just kind of selling stuff. And far ahead, you are going to see there is you're going to see more and more tents the further you go. As though there's kind of this sort of big sort of cluster of them toward the middle of that you can see toward the middle of the district. And so that there are even more portable businesses in that direction, if you wish. Are you looking for anything in particular whilst you're here, or are you just sort of looking to see what you see?
I don't know about Lila, but I think I'm just like, what is going on? Though, like, is there any sort of theme to what is being sold here, or is it like anything goes?
It's interesting. I will say that, yeah, they do try to stay away from the opposite side of the street to a certain extent, because that's where, again, a lot of these church-looking buildings are. But, yeah, there's not really... It's weird. It's very chaotic. There's a lot of different things being sold. There are vehicular things being sold. There are, like I said, grocery items. There are a couple of restaurants here. There are, as far as, the people hawking things at individual booths, some people selling charms, people selling keepsakes, various or appear to be selling keepsakes. And then there's occasionally you're going to see signs that say there's one store, one big sort of booth that says teeth.
Yep.
There's a booth. There's this weird sort of thing. It's sort of closer to, you can kind of see that's closer to the tents, that this sort of stand set up that appears to be selling something called Infinity. There are places that look like they're selling, that look like that there's some places that look like I don't know, there are some places that looks like they just are advertising that they're selling joy. Places that look like they're selling fury or boredom. Places that are selling happy memories.
I could buy back my landscape memory.
You
My
might.
sight.
Or at least get something similar. We don't know if it's made its way here yet, but you never know.
So you've been here a couple times, right?
Yep. This will be the third time.
How? Why? What? How do you get here? How did we get here? I guess.
Usually there's some sort of inciting incident. You stay awake too long.
Okay.
And you start to see things. I've noticed it tends to be a little more common around certain times of the year where this city overlaps with our world and they start to interact. And doors start appearing where they don't belong, and things come out. People go in.
Yeah.
Huh.
The last 2 times I was kind of being chased by things, like the wax figures that we ran into earlier.
Okay.
The clockwork cops.
Right. Because we don't vibrate at the right frequency? Or...
Yeah. And as you may have noticed, the economy here sort of operates on human experience. So, on the one hand, we're kind of a valuable commodity, and on the other, we kind of don't belong.
You're going to notice, by the way, a couple of things, incidentally. A group of, what looks for a moment seems like a number of, you've noted that Isabel has sort of drifted a little into the crowd and is sort of looking around in wonderment. And there is a from so sort of behind you, a mob of people has kind of come out of the movie theater. Several of them look like camels, but they're what seems to get away from them. They're these very large, what look like very large cats. And they're about, you'd probably give them, they'd be roughly cougar sized, but they look more like house cats. People sort of make way as they're like, and they start charging down the street a bit. You're fine. They're not coming after you, but they sort of come through, and some of the camels are like, and these are camel people who are kind of sort of running after them a little bit. Someone sort of mentions one to one of them, and they're like, nah. And they go over and they're, and they get ready. They pull out their phone and start calling somebody. So it's like there's a little bit of chaos in the market ahead of you for a moment. But when you look back up after this sort of mob of people have moved out of the way, you do realize that you do not see Isabel anymore.
Well, that's not great.
So, in character, we should probably try to find her. Out of character, I know that's not going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
fair.
But I have a feeling she might be trying to meet up with her new friends at the bazaar.
Right? Like, at least she... And those guys all seemed fine, right?
I have no evidence to the contrary.
Yeah.
I have not encountered them before.
Okay. She's a tough kid.
And she was heading toward the bazaar. So you're aware. You do see, as you know, you're looking, you're seeing more of these buildings. They are, a lot of these different types. Oh yes. Okay. Right. So a couple of things you will notice. I think that there's a building that you might have seen before, that Lila might have seen before on her last visit, possibly, but I can't remember if it was Lila seeing it or not. But I will say what it is, and then you can let me know. There is, you will note, there is stepping out of, there are a couple of folks stepping out of what looks like it's got sort of a, this is on the market side, being sort of, big sign up above the door says Silver Street Entertainment. And you'll see someone kind of, a couple of folks kind of stepping out. And let me see, how do I describe this? Is it possible for me to describe this? No. But what I will do instead, is yes, I'm gonna open the thesaurus really quickly, just so that I have yeah. Very tall individual. So one person looking human, another person looking very tall, and his head looks kind of like a tape measure with one of those round tape measures with the bit of tape sort of on the end that you could pull down from about this part of his forehead. They're sort of coming out talking, and they just sort of stop and they look at the two of you for a moment. And one just sort of the other one who's wearing a sort of a long, sort of more modern coat, just sort of turns to the tape measure guy, and is sort of and then just pointing at the two of you, sort of saying something, and it's looked like they might be starting to approach. At the same time, you hear this sort of honking horn, and a vehicle comes through from the opposite street. It crossed over at the. It's not really a stoplight, but it crossed over. It's a big sort of dusty, like turn of the century truck. Almost very close to that. Maybe a little later than the turn of the century. By turn of the century, I'm sorry. I mean by turn of the 20th century. Early 20th century truck. Coming through a big sort of dusty affair, but in some ways more wagon than truck. But it's actually, you know what? Yeah, it would have to be. It'd be covered. It'd be covered. The bed would be covered. And you can kind of hear this sort of some sort of things. You don't know what it is coming from inside, but it sort of is pulling up where there's more of a glut of people and slowing down, and it's kind of it's starting to sort of just basically pull to a stop. And there is a gentleman getting out who's come from the who's come from, well, yeah. Lila, I'm going to give a direction now because you've sort of you've oriented yourself to where the clock is, right? So he was coming down the street from the from where between the drama district and the re-education district. So he was heading counterclockwise. Was he? No, he wasn't. I'm sorry. I lie to you. I have lied. I apologize.
You didn't drink the green martini.
I did not. No. Actually, yes. I apologize. He actually is coming from a side street on the Penitence District, ahead of you. Turns to the right. And so he's on the opposite side of the street near the Penitence District where he's going to park. Because he was coming up, he was coming from, yeah, he's actually heading clockwise. Pops out, guy in a sort of a weird kind of Victorian overcoat, and a top hat that he puts back on, sort of disheveled hair. His face looks kind of heavily scarred. And he's sort of yellowed teeth. And he gets out and picks up a pole that was sort of in a sort of a socket near the front of the of the driver's seat. That's got this big sort of loop at the end. And he's sort of hits the side of the truck for a second. He's like, "Well, quiet all down in there. Quiet down in there." And you sort of turn this Mr. Hyde-like figure basically is going to turn, and you see him looking around as and you see one of those the camel person who was placing a phone call is now sort of approaching him. But he kind of is waving that camel person off for a second. He's like, and he's like looking around, and he seems to be sniffing the air. And is also starting to move in the direction of you two.
I think I can't do a whole lot necessarily unless we find something to douse ourselves with about the smell. But I'm going to start sort of tapping my tuning fork against my leg and try to, create some vibrations in the air to obscure our appearance.
Ah.
Oh. We've got some madness going on.
Yes. So, I think the question here is that, here's the thing. You want to change the vibrations of the air so that it is visibly obscuring you, is what you want to do.
Yeah, I just want to make us blend in a little more.
All right. This is an unusual and unorthodox use of your power, but
yes, of course.
But I approve. So let's see. I'm going to give you the pain rating of the one of the individual you're really of these people I've just described, the one you need to worry about.
Okay.
And that is a 7.
Okay.
And so that's the pain rating. The madness you're going to need to pull this off, this level of fine control, I think you're going to need to roll. You're probably going to need to roll at least 5 madness dice.
Okay.
Because this is going to require a lot of concentration. It's going to need to be done in a way where you are bringing the song out, but it has to be unnoticeable. You're trying to blend in using it.
Yes.
And change the way the air is vibrating around you. So that's what we're going for. So you can, if you wish, go ahead and roll with what you have available. If you want, you can increase your exhaustion beforehand too, but that's up to you.
Sure. I've only got 1 right now.
Okay, yes. It's only a little. Okay. All right. Did you increase your exhaustion before you rolled?
I did.
It seems to have only rolled 1 die. I think. Let me look at your...
Okay.
Let me look at your sense of self here, your character sheet. No, it says 2. It says 2. It should have done it. Weird. If you want, you can roll another d6. Maybe you'll do it next time. That was weird. Hopefully it'll be okay.
Well, if we don't need the extra d6 that I rolled, then we can just ignore that.
Good for you. But if you hover over the exhaustion, I'm only seeing a single 4 on that die. A single 4 having been rolled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll pain. Okay. So you got 2 successes and I got 2 successes, but ties go to you. Let's see. I don't have any 6s. But
Looks like madness is dominating.
Yeah, madness is dominating because you've got multiple 6s under madness. So this is going to work, but I need you to check off a response, please.
Okay. Well. I don't really want to get into a fight right now when we have split the party, so I think it's going to be fleet.
Okay, excellent. So you your flight response kicks in. As you're doing this, what does this look like?
I am going to reach over and put my hand on Dawson's shoulder and start moving counterclockwise because I believe that's the direction we were told the bazaar is located today.
From where you are standing, correct. Yes.
And I'm just going to say, walk with me quickly.
Oh, okay. And Dawson just maybe doesn't realize how bad that was. And we'll we fade into the crowd.
You start heading in the direction of the bazaar with all of this sort of vibrating air particles around you, concealing you. And you see that yeah, okay. They're also trying to move the air particles so that they push your scent away. And sort of trying to get in toward the crowd. You will note that the Victorian dressed gentleman, sort of looking around. He's like, and you see as he's stepping forward, he will collide virtually with the large tape measure person and his friend, and they're like, and he's like, he's like, you can hear him just sort of in the background. No, get off me! They're awake. I can smell them. And the you can see the shorter guy in the long coats just like is like, no, calm down. No, calm down, Mr. Sphinx. I know that this isn't your part of town to do this in. We're going and he says, I can harvest from where I like. And that conversation is getting lost though because it's hard to hear. You've got a tuning fork going. You see that they're starting to argue. The tape measure guy just sort of straightens his, he's very, very tall and thin, but he sort of straightens his coat a bit and turns and is walking generally in your direction, seems to be perhaps looking back and forth, possibly for you. It's just sort of, you don't know if he can detect you or not. You don't think he can. But he's kind of following in your direction. Whilst his associate is tackling the individual whose name you heard was Mr. Sphinx. You get further in, you're in the crowd. Very dense crowd. It gets harder to move quickly. This place is full of people. But you're getting to the place where the tents are. You see this big sign that turns up above a couple of these tents. There are two of these signs on either side, really, of this area. This sort of little tented in place in the middle of the street. And they both say the same thing. On one side of the sign, as it spins, on one side of the sign it says bizarre, and on the other side of the sign it says bizarre. The spellings are different.
Here we are.
Yeah, maybe we can look for Izzy and also
Get lost in the crowd for a minute.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
This has a very carnival atmosphere, more of a carnival atmosphere. You see that the penguin calliope has stopped here and is I say it's just a calliope. It's just the driver is a penguin. Has stopped here and is playing a delightful, cheery pipe organ type tune. There are all manner of booths here. It's kind of there are games of chance here. There are tents with people selling different things. There are fortune tellers. There are vendors again of all kinds of things, up to and including meat on sticks, it's mostly people with individual booths, selling things or goods and services of all different kinds. It's kind of like in this part, and they're going hard on the esoteric stuff. There's a booth selling auras. There's a booth there's a booth selling betrayal. There's a booth selling accusations. Apparently the accusations are half off today, just so you're aware. There's a couple of large rodents who have set up this kind of card table and are doing like a 3-card Monty game on it. There's a so out here it's more sort of vendors of things. The further in you go, the more carnival type stuff and different games of chance and stuff are things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And different little entertainment acts, possibly, even. But, single tent type stuff.
I kind of want to go play this game of 3-card Monty. Is that the most tourist thing to do? Yes.
It's a very tourist thing to do.
And therefore, my quick out of character in real life, my cousin and I were on a trip together, and he got scammed in Paris multiple times, including by a 3-card Monty player.
Okay.
And it's great. So yeah, I'll
head up to them. You do. You head out of the aura of protective audio safety, and over to the 3-card Monty table. As they are, you see this. See this this rat, basically standing up on the table, and just sort of saying, "Come on, try your luck. You want to come? You want to come give it a chance? Come on."
Yeah, I'll play.
All right. And you see, the other rat is moving the cards around. They're a little bit bigger than some rats you've seen, but not much. So this is a 2-person job for them.
Oh my gosh.
As they're because the cards are like this big for them. So they're like, okay, here we go. And there's very much a kind of an atmosphere where they are and this is I'd say this is one of those. This is how 3-card Monty works. There are multiple people at this table placing bets, but there's room if you want to go put a bet down. And damn it, I need an item. So yeah, I think one of them is going to. Yeah, they're going to. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yeah, they're going to be flipping back and forth, and they say, "Okay, come on, place your bets." And it looks like these are something that are kind of like tarot cards that they're playing this game with. They look a little more like tarot cards than like poker cards. And you have the opportunity to there are 3 cards. The cards they are showing, the card that they show you is the wheel.
Okay.
You got to find the wheel. Come on, find the wheel! Find the wheel! So, So, what do you place down? What are you betting?
So I know that money has like no value here.
Yeah, you see people are putting down all kinds of things. Some people are putting down coins into this pool, but some people are putting down objects. Bits of twine or the coins that are being put down look a little weird too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They have like someone wearing a crown that's like got a like a candle wick at the top of it. The face of that person's face. But then some people are putting down, they're putting down, like, someone puts down a key, someone puts down a like an acorn. Someone sets down a marble. And so it really just sort of depends on what you want to put down and what it means.
Mm-hmm. I think that Dawson like digs around in her bag for something, is just like trying to find anything, shuffling notes out of the way, and then finds a like sticky note that has just a single sentence on it that says, read this, doesn't make sense. Like, look at paragraph 5C, and then signed -J Dawson. And I'll put it down.
Jim is checking something. Yeah.
I think I just did the right first initial.
Yeah.
Jonathan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
okay. So you are
Richard, Jonathan.
So are you betting? Are you just to be clear? I don't know. I don't know if you do. You have I need to. Do you have a clear idea in your head what it is you're betting? Does your character, rather, I should say, have a clear idea in her head what she's betting?
Yeah. It is like one of the last notes that Jonathan wrote to, not to her, to another student, but it's like one of the last pieces of writing that he like physically wrote.
Oh, and when you do that, the hawker rat that's standing there. Yeah. No. Hey. Okay, my brain went in a completely different direction after I said that, but that's not what I meant.
Do they have tiny, tiny little hawks?
Not these, but there will be some. But one coming around who's hawking the game is basically going to stop for a second. He's like, "Oh, hey, I don't know if he's like, "Hey, lady, I don't know if we can make change for that. You sure you want to bet that?"
She'll take it away, and she pulls out like another sticky note and goes, "Here, I'll do this one." And it's it just says, "Nice work, JD."
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, they're like,
Mhm.
whew. Yeah, okay. All right.
I think you just upped the ante.
Oh, yeah, no, it's. I think you stepped down a little bit, but not. Still, okay. So, this is
This will be interesting.
it's going to be a pain of 3
Okay.
to keep track of the wheel.
Okay.
And
I'm going to up my exhaustion.
okay.
And I'm going to really, really focus on what is going on with this. Yes, that sounds good to me. I'm gonna really, really focus on like where the wheel is actually going, because like in 3-card Monte, it usually doesn't stay on the table; it gets like palmed somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think the amount of focus that she puts into it, it's almost like time is moving a little slower.
Great question. Are you using your madness talent on this?
I'm going to use my madness talent.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
this is
I
a
really
fairly
wanna
simple.
keep this note.
It's a fairly simple use, actually an ideal use of your madness talent. So you're only going to have to roll at least 2 madness dice, I think, for this. I mean, I almost want to say just 1 madness die, but because this is very basic, and I'm actually only going to require 1 madness die for this because they're rats. They can't palm these cards very well. Perhaps there's a way they can do it. We don't know yet. I'm only going to require you to roll 1 madness, but you may roll more, up to 6 if you wish.
I'm gonna keep it. You said that's pain of 3.
Pain of 3.
I'm gonna keep it at 1.
All right.
Because I already have 1 exhaustion and then my discipline. So
Yeah.
I think that I am not a mathematical genius, so I can't quite do the probability calculations in my head, but I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, oopsie.
Yeah. Okay. And this already should be something that's fairly easy for your character, for Dawson. This is, so I mean, just using your madness on top of it is a lot. Okay, I got 1 success. You got 2 successes. Madness is dominating.
Oh, good. Okay.
So please check off a response.
Mm-hmm. So how does this shake out? Do I like catch these rats palming this card?
Yeah, I think what happens is
It's gonna be bad.
okay. So here's the deal: the rat that is the hawker is running interference for the rat that's moving the cards. And you realize, why am I doing, Jim? Why are you doing this? I don't know. But we're doing it. Which has found the channel's secret scoring system, by the way, in the chat. But oh, hang on. I need to. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I'm making you perform street magic like in real time.
It's no worries. It's. I'm sure it's fine. See, the thing is, what you realize is going on pretty quickly, is that one of these rats, the more you look at them, the one that's moving the cards around, you see how it is that he's doing it. And you actually are able to hold off for a second while one or two other people bet. Or try to pick the card. So that when it comes to your turn, you know that rat is secretly a marsupial.
Has a little pocket.
And has switched out the card into his pocket, into their pouch.
And
into
I
their pouch.
grab that little wallaby bastard by the throat. and I like full on like a kid upside down bully shake this little shake this thing until the card comes out. And it's like it's like a pretty efficient, like it's not a flip the table kind of rage, but I do just like shake it out. The wheel card falls like face down on the table, and then I'm just gonna like snatch the note back, and I'm assuming I get some sort of ante from this game.
Oh yes, yes you do. You're like, he's like, oh God, oh no.
I'm gonna sweep all
like,
of it into my bag.
Assault! Oh, no. And the other is like, hey, lady, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. The other rat is saying, he's actually a rat, but
in more ways than one,
probably. He's like, okay, and yeah, here, and he gathers up this. He gathers up. Okay. Oh wow. He gathers up these items, right? And he's like, here, you get the prize. You get to pick one of these. So there are 3 items that are being placed before you that you have a choice from. One of them looks like a little cat brooch, a sort of cat head brooch. Brooch in the shape, kind of like, yeah, you know what I mean. It's clearly a brooch. That's all I'm saying, because I realize we're in a weird place, so I have to explain when something is normal. There's what looks like a little there's like a little BlackBerry type device, pretty small, about the size of a iPod Mini, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's an amulet, and those are the 3 items. You got the.
Does the amulet have any markings on it?
Yeah, there's actually, you look at it carefully and you see that a mask has been what looks like the eyes and a mouth for a mask, and sort of the shape of a mask has been put in sort of the surface of it, carved into the surface of it. Little round bit of metal.
I think I'm gonna take the device.
Okay.
The little BlackBerry thing.
All right. You take it.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about it there's something. Here's the thing about it. You're not sure what the thing is about it, but there's something interesting about it that you'll have to tinker with it and sort of figure out kind of what it is about it. But you get this feeling as you pick it up that there's a thing you can do with this. It's kind of like the opposite of when you give something away. You're receiving something. And from the side of the table, someone stands up who was previously just sort of sitting at this nearby booth, and they turn. And you see, and you hear them before you see them. They say, "Now let's not have any more. Now let's not have any more of this. We want things to be equitable. I think it's time the two of you clear off for the night." And to the rat and Wallaby, and they're like, "Nah," they're scattering around. They see this person. They're like, "Oh," and they're scattering. They're gathering up. And the rat's like, "All right, that's it, folks. Sorry, that's it for the night. We gotta go." And he's grabbing the cards and quickly just trying to scatter, pick up some of whatever antes they have that they've taken. And some of the people are like, nah. And I think Lila's in a better position to see this person first. They stand up. They're wearing a colorful, big coat, sort of a purple and light purple and pink coat, and trousers, sort of purple trousers, and they're wearing a bowler hat, and their face is a wheel.
Uh-huh.
Their face is a betting wheel, and standing there, just sort of at the end of one of his gloves, you see it's sort of like, as he was sort of doing this to kind of sort of snapping as they were getting off, they were getting off, running off. You see sparks of electricity come from his fingertips. And the people nearby also sort of pull back a little bit as they're looking. And very quickly, the wheel turns for a moment. As it's like a prize wheel type deal. He turns, and just sort of stands there, hands on hips for a moment, looks at Lila, looks toward Lila, looks toward Dawson, and says, "Well, very interesting. How would you like to play a much deeper and more rewarding game?" And I think that's actually where we're going to take a quick break.
Yep.
We're going to break for a few minutes. We will be back shortly. You folks in a little bit. We have returned. So, there is there's this individual. Wheel of chance for a face. Bowler hat. Bright clothing. Vest. Who is, just offered you a chance at a much more interesting, deeper game.
I'm gonna, like, look to Lila a little bit to be like, do you know this? Is this bad? Is this good? All right, yeah. What sort of game? Like betting again?
Of course. Stakes are, shall we say, but the stakes are, shall we say, a bit higher.
That's suspicious as hell, but I am intrigued. Truth Martini hasn't quite worn off yet.
Yeah, not quite yet. No, you've got a little time. Well,
Like,
there are a number of things that can be wagered, of course, but we enjoy the wagers on our memories. We can, but the stakes, you see, the stakes can be any number of things. And I reckon I could get hold of something of deep interest to each one of you.
oh, all right. I'm down to try that. If you are, you can come with, or Lila, it's up to you. You don't have to bet anything.
I'm not that much of a gambler. At least not this kind of gambling. I think just being here is.
You see the wheel clacks a little bit, turns a little bit. Sort of points toward Lila. It says, "You're seeking something to create a greater stability, I wager."
Who isn't?
Yes. Perhaps something creative or something. And, the wheel is slowly turning and he's assessing. Something protective, perhaps. Or maybe a chance at a greater spread of your creations.
Yeah, I've been offered that before.
Ah, well, the advantage to betting is that, well, we try to make it very clear what the stakes are at the beginning. You win. There are no strings. And he sort of snaps his head in Dawson's direction. You're looking for something. Perhaps someone. I think I could probably suss that out for you.
I mean, as I've said, I'm willing to bet as well. Though to be honest, I'm not much of a gambler either.
Well, everyone has to start somewhere. What do you say? He says, gesturing to both of you.
Dawson's gonna do it. Like,
Well, I'm not leaving without her.
He rubs his hands together, and the electricity crackles up from it. And he moves his hands down to just under chest level, or at abdomen level. And when he pulls, as this electricity is crackling all around it, all around his hands, and he pulls his hands apart, and you see forming where he stands is a thing not unlike a roulette board. And there are different squares to bet on, or where a number is going to land. And so, you tell me what you want, I can tell you if I can do it. And I can guarantee it for you if you win. If you lose, on the other hand, well, I get whatever it is that you bet. And what you will be betting, perhaps personal memories. You only can stand to lose whatever you put down. The more squares you cover, of course, the greater chance you have of winning, but of course, the more that you will be investing. There's only one square can win.
Okay. I'm looking for answers about how the Mad City works.
Oh, yes. On what level?
On a fundamental molecular level, but we don't have to start there. A set of rules would work.
Ah. Interesting. He nods slowly. I have certain connections to quite a few rule makers, as it turns out.
Okay. And
I-
and what
Hmm?
what do you need me to bet?
Oh no. Oh no, Jim, don't use that one.
That's not ominous at all.
No, no, don't do that. You don't want to. Oh my goodness. Do I really want to do this thing I'm about to do?
Do the I love misery.
He
so
He'll say, well, it's just a question of how much you want to. You simply will be betting on each square. You will find you can lay down a single chip for each memory you wish to sacrifice. And yes, if I may, I think I can conjure up what you're looking for. Let me see. And you see the wheel spinning so that you can see what you are playing for. And yes, let me just reach a bit. He raises his hand. It's kind of, he moves it very subtly as though he's tuning a radio. Yes. And you see his hand again. The electricity comes up around his hand, and a thin volume appears in it. This, I think, might be the sort of thing you're looking for. And, you will see that it looks pretty old, this book. It's very thin. It is bound in the manner of books from, like, the 1800s. It has a very sort of dark cover, sort of rough cover. You can't see a title on it. He will hold it in one hand. He will open it so you can see the flyleaf. You can see, no, the flyleaf's on the inside. So you can see both the flyleaf and the front page. And you see, written in it, handwritten, but very neatly, a treatise on the City of Nightmares by Ada Lovelace.
my namesake. Oh yeah, I want that book. Okay. So just a
Understand some of this information may be out of date, but I think this is along the lines that you might be looking for.
So just a chip per memory.
Yes.
And I'm assuming I get back the chip that wins if it wins,
Correct.
but none of the others.
Also correct. There are a lot of numbers on this board.
This is such a bad idea.
We could have just gone to Battle Denny's and ordered the pancakes and waffles.
You totally could have. You could have done that. Battle Denny's is always open. I can't remember where it is, but the Mad City has changed since then. I can put it wherever I want. I can't remember what district it was in.
I don't remember either.
Alas. If it didn't happen on stream, did it even happen? I don't know.
It was not in the Pain District.
No, it was not in the Pain District.
Jim, how many numbers are on this board?
Well, let's see. Standard roulette wheel has 36 numbers on it.
Mm-hmm.
This probably isn't a
This is
standard.
this
roulette
is
wheel,
this is
is
an
it?
yeah. This is unstandard. It only has
No.
4.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's not quite standard.
The clock has 13.
Yeah, you're right. You're very right. You're very right. 36 is a multiple of 13 though. So let's see.
It does.
It does, doesn't it? So this, you're right. No, this does not have 36 numbers on it. In a place like this, that would be ridiculous. It has 72.
Oh no. Okay.
Twice as many options.
I will tell you, and also Lila, you're probably more likely to be the one noticing this because you're not the one as involved in the betting. Everybody is giving this guy a really wide berth. Just you do notice that.
Mm-hmm.
He has a certain aura about him.
Yes, I picked up on that.
Oh man. This is such a bad idea.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna put down 37 chips, I think.
Oh my god.
I might just have to compile a list of small little memories after the episode that I sent to
Maybe.
Jim.
Maybe. So yeah.
Puts me at just over
So I need to explain something about the at this juncture about the last person that encountered this being. He filled up the entire board and emptied most of his brain. As far as it went.
Okay.
It was yeah, I think it was, most of the immediate, but then again, he went big and immediate. So it's just a question of what you're willing to part with here. Now, if you want, we could get this down to a roll where you're trying to just sort of figure this guy out and figure out how minor of memories you can lose or afford to lose.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna try to do. Because if
Okay.
it's just like fleeting moments, I'm a grad student. There are so many all-nighters, miserable
Yeah.
all-nighters I could get rid of.
So I think what this will be the ability to pick out memories that will diminish your overall memories the least, your overall sense of self the least.
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing: is like, how does that work in the human brain? They're all kind of interconnected. But
there's some things there.
Let's do some non-formative stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure there must be. So this character, when we last left him, he actually only had a pain rating of 6. And he's doing everything above board. But it's been some time, and he's been very bitter since then.
Okay.
So he has upped his defenses. I don't know. Do I want to? Is he a 7 now? Has it been long enough? Has he become a 7? No, he's still a 6 right now. He is, so 6 pain is what I will be rolling.
Okay.
Are you sure about this, Dawson?
No. I did say but the what is your path? It's obsession or like acceptance. And I guess I'm going real hard on the obsession early on. All right, I think yeah, I'm gonna do it. Let's see what I can get away with.
Okay, so I'm going to be rolling 6 pain. 6 pain. I'm going to be rolling 6 pain. Now, you may, as of course, if you wish, you may increase your exhaustion before you roll. You can also, like I said, you can roll up to 1d6 madness. Are you using any of your talents?
I was really hoping to use my exhaustion talent to do some card counting here, but this is not the same sort of
No.
yeah, this is all chance.
Yeah.
That's not great. She doesn't love that.
I mean, you know probabilities, but at the same time,
yeah.
I feel like that's only going to take you so far.
Yeah, and not in this kind of figuring out
Yeah.
a person.
You can figure out the probabilities easily for, like, okay, what's going to give me the best chance to, or, number of chips you put down. But aside from that, but again, so you'll be rolling 3 discipline and whatever exhaustion you have, and again, you can increase exhaustion beforehand if you wish, and then 1d6 madness.
I'm gonna. Gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna up my exhaustion again, just a little bit, and I'm gonna throw in. I'm gonna throw in 2 madness.
Okay.
Oh, whoopsie! I keep doing this wrong.
Your exhaustion is 2 right now, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
Oh, that is not a...
4 successes.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll my dice.
Yeah, there we go. Cool.
I got 2 successes. You're going to win, but let's see what's dominating as to how this is flavored. Let's see. Pain is currently
I
dominating.
think it's pain. Yeah.
Let me see if I want to adjust that at all. I've got so many despair coins right now. Well, 4.
You do.
Let me see. So if I want to, I'm going to have to spend 2 of them to change what's dominating. Okay, I will do that. So you'll now have 2 coins of hope, which we'll get into in a moment. You can look at the rules summary. There's a rule summary handout under the handouts in Roll20. To look at the bottom, it will show you what you can spend hope on. You can't do it right now during this action.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put 2 6s in the exhaustion pool.
Up that again.
So this is very tiring, and so your exhaustion will go up 1 as you're sort of figuring this out. But you think you've got it sussed out. That a lot of so you're able to pull from a lot of different things. You beat him by 2. So it's only gonna affect you a little bit. There is a piece of yourself that's going to be a little different, and you must decide what that is. You don't have to decide right this second if you do not wish to, but of course you may.
I'm probably gonna take a little bit of time to think about it. I'll let you know.
All right. Excellent. So, you set down your chips. Do you just like put them all in one particular corner, or do you like just spread them out?
I think I spread them out, and I think I split it pretty evenly, like red black. And then I am going to put the 37th chip on the 00.
Okay. The wheel spins. And, well, actually, before the wheel spins, he will turn toward Lila. You wish to make any bets? No? Very well. And, spins around and around and around and around. And, you have, a little better than a 50-50 chance. And you've sussed him out correctly. It's going to land on the 00. In this case. It will come around. Ah, we have a winner! And you feel this shift as your memories are yanked out of your brain, all except one. All except the 37th memory. And, I say, excellent! Oh, before I give you your winnings here, I don't suppose you want to go double or nothing. I could tell you, for example, where I think the fellow is who annotated this. The fellow I got it from. You put a few little annotations now.
No, I'm good.
All right. Very well. You remind me of him a little bit. And
out of character, I'm like, oh no.
He will hand the book over.
Okay.
And he will, and you get your chip back. The table dematerializes. And he tips his hat to you and says, well then, you enjoy that. Feel free to come back anytime. And he will head back to he will return to sort of the booth that he was standing, and you see that there's a sign next to it that says, beat the lottery. And everyone continues to give him a fairly wide berth. You have this book.
Yeah.
You do you take a look at it at all, or are you just going to stow it away?
I think I'm going to stow it away. Because I think that was like, I think I got myself in way over my head. Like, I think Dawson got herself way in over her head and didn't like quite realize it until like the memory was taken out. And it's now like, I'm going to go have a look at that. Yeah. We should go far away from here. That was a bad plan. But I got it. That's what matters.
Yes.
Let's go to Vegas.
You have the book.
As long as it's actual Vegas.
Mm-hmm. And from where the lottery is sitting, he says, "Oh, I can point you to Vegas if you want to go there."
No, that's like, thank you. That was quite traumatizing. Goodbye.
There's a door to it around here somewhere. He just sort of says, gesturing roughly. You have seen there are a number of doors around that you've seen that are in some of these buildings that look kind of incongruous. But then the whole buildings look incongruous, so it's hard to say what belongs and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can't go to Vegas without Izzy.
Mm.
Yeah.
You have a book. What would you like to do now? What would you like?
Are you okay? That looked intense.
Yeah, no, I I think it's fine. I mean, I got what I wanted, and
Do you need a minute?
yeah, maybe just like a I want to go to Battle Denny's now. No, I've never heard of this place. I don't. Yeah, just anywhere that's not here, probably. I'll kind of just do a little like lead the way, sort of.
All right. Oh. I think I will continue sort of meandering with the crowd through the bazaar, kind of sort of keeping an eye out for Izzy, but mostly keeping an eye on this one and kind of looking for a little out of the way place for us to take a breather.
Okay. You find yourself amongst the milling populace of the Bazaar. You see that as you manage to pass all the way through the bazaar without spotting Isabel, which, I mean, easy enough, you might need to do a few more circuits maybe if she's still here. You see at the end, at the far end, you see that there's a sort of a pen where people are giving mechanical horse rides. Where there are these, basically there's these sort of big black iron horse that looks like some kind of steampunk nightmare has basically been cobbled together.
Perhaps preferable to these other nightmares, but that remains to be seen.
You never know. So there's, let's see. That doesn't qualify as an out-of-the-way place, though, so I should probably draw from my deck of places again. I assume you're looking for something that is somewhere you can go sit down and eat or drink something or something like that. Is that kind of what you're looking for? Or is it,
yes.
Or are you just looking for anything?
Either somewhere to sit down and get some refreshments, or just sort of an inconspicuous place to just sit and let my friend collect her thoughts.
Of course. So,
what few remain.
You gamed it pretty well. So there are a couple of potential candidates. Near the bazaar itself, you see what looks like and on this is on the opposite side of the bazaar, so you can see down to the end of the district. All right. Where there are. It looks like see, people are wearing more modern clothes toward the end of that district, and beyond it, there's some sort of there's more neon in that direction for some reason. And you see again there are you do pass by another newspaper stand, by the way, also. This one not manned by a paperboy. But there is a you have two choices as far as if you want to stop for like something, just to pause. So on one side of the street, still within the market district, is what looks like a bar cafe type place, sort of very a lot of burned wood sort of facade, that is called the shooting range. And then kind of opposite the street, a little further down, are a couple of these in the penitence district across the street. You see what looks like there's this chapel standing kind of by itself, with a big sort of iron fence around it on the outside. It's still accessible, but that kind of advertises itself as the Chapel of Contemplation.
Sit down and think about what you've done.
So those are what you're seeing more immediately. Or if you wish, you can keep going. Or you can ride a mechanical horse. Entirely up to you. What would you like to do?
I am just okay. We shouldn't do this, but I am just imagining Dawson and Lila just sadly riding this mechanical horse. Why did we choose this?
You're probably wondering how we got here.
So we're both Izzy and Ben. Where both Sarah and Ben find us when they return to us again, just like, what are you guys doing?
Getting in touch with our inner mechanical horses.
The Penitence District seems scary, but I don't know. So does the shooting range. Keep going, you think? Or do either of those... You dig in either of those?
Well... If I sort of glance in at this shooting gallery cafe, what sort of a vibe do I get?
So you look in through the window. First thing you notice is that looks like it's kind of Western themed. There is a very large Colt Peacemaker revolver wearing a cowboy hat standing behind the bar, who is serving drinks, and food and drinks. There are booths. There is a mechanical bull, kind of inside, but there are also just sort of areas where people can sit. There is what looks like beyond the mechanical bull. You think there is a shooting gallery in there. As you get close enough, you can kind of hear it too a little bit. So it's probably not the quietest of places. But it looks like, there are booths, so you could probably get some degree of privacy there if you wish.
I'm getting a sort of bad axe throwing gallery feel.
Now, the axe throwing gallery is a little further down, but you probably can. Strangely enough, in the Penitence District. We're not sure why. But,
Oh, implications there.
Okay.
Move on, you think?
Maybe.
It doesn't really look like either of our scenes in there so much.
Yeah. I think Lila's maybe a little restless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can keep moving
moving?
onward.
So same objective, looking for places to sort of catch your breath. Type deal.
Or like at least be kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, really quick question, Jim. Is there any sign of any of the like tape measure guys or the Victorian gentleman?
You do not see the Victorian gentleman. But I will say, as you are heading further down the street, you do see, you think, tape measure guy kind of looking around. It's probably the same one. It looks like he did an end run around the bazaar and is sort of like just sort of on the other end, just kind of out looking around.
So not that way.
You can if you wish. It's not automatic that you'll be seen by him, but I suppose there's a possibility.
I think just
There are side streets if you want to go down a side street. Those are also possible. We have side streets heading further into the market district or further into the penitence district. You can turn back, or you can go down a side street, or you can keep going and risk being seen by him.
Maybe we'll head down a side street in the market district. I don't want to go too far,
Sure.
in case Izzy circles around looking for us.
Yeah.
So you go a little further in. And you will see, as you're heading down the street, you see that kind of the very far end of the street looks like it heads closer to the outskirts. And there's some more down that way. You see what looks like, maybe there's a big junkyard down there, you're not sure. But in the meantime, as you're heading down, you'll see that you're passing some apartment blocks here in the market district. And you see there are a couple of little parks that are here, that are really kind of part of the apartments. But if you take my meaning, but sort of common areas that you can kind of see. The sort of garden gates, things like that. So you could conceivably stop there if you wish. not a lot in the way of establishments here. You are in the Market Street, and you're on a street on the Market Street, so there are vendors here. The Market Street and the Market District. There are people selling things here, but they're much further fewer and further between.
Okay.
Or are you looking for more of an indoor type area?
I'm thinking maybe if there's a like park or garden that's at least, semi-public, that won't look like we're being too trespasserly.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign a pain value to this, and I'm going to have you roll. Because, I mean, you can find there are parks or gardens here, but you're looking for one that's going to be more ideal for your purposes. I'm going to assign a pain of. I'm going to assign a pain of 2.
Okay.
And you can let me know what you're doing.
I've got my discipline and I've got my 2 exhaustion. I don't really feel like I necessarily need to use my talent for this at the moment. I'm just kind of more like, oh, here's a park bench. Let's sit down for a minute. So I'll just roll as is.
Okay. All right. So you got 2 successes. I get 1 success, but exhaustion is dominating, looks like. Because one of your exhaustion dice was a 6. So your exhaustion will go up by 1. It takes you longer than you had thought it was going to. There are 1 or 2 times. There is a point where you see there's a street you want to cross, but you see that truck again coming through, driven by Mr. Sphinx, and you duck out of the way, and he continues through. He does not see you. And you will find eventually a sort of a little enclosed. You sort of actually, it's like, wait, you sort of see through a doorway. There is, there are a couple of things. There are, like I said, weird doors here too, if you want to try one of those. But there's an open archway, and you see, and there's kind of a contained garden back behind somewhere, and you don't see anybody in there.
Okay.
And you see that it's very out of the way. There doesn't seem to be anybody there. There are some benches, and there's a little fountain in the middle.
Seems nice. just like goes to the bench, sits with head in hands, thinks about what she's done.
Lila is going to pull out like her phone and start like pull up the old map and start like just kind of making notes about where everything is oriented this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you want to talk about it?
I mean, I consider that a rousing success. I'm just a little, gosh, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I know you said the coffee here is bad, or not bad, but strong.
Strong.
But,
You want to get some coffee? Because falling asleep would be bad.
what happens if I fall asleep?
You might not wake up.
Okay, good. Right. Huh. She sort of just like lapses back into silence. Yeah, I don't. So, if we don't get out of here and we just fall asleep or the city changes, we die?
Don't know. I've seen the city change once. I managed to get out after that. I think if you get stuck here, you'll be running. You'll get more and more exhausted, and eventually they'll catch you. And then well, you won't be the same. I think little pieces of us change every time we come here. But as long as we can get out, as long as we don't get caught, we can mostly hold on to who we are.
Okay. Okay, good. So, it's the start of a plan? Sort of? Find Izzy.
Find Izzy,
Find
find
a
a way
door.
out, and try not to lose too much of ourselves in the process.
Okay. If I'm ever gambling again, just I don't know. I guess no more gambling again.
Everything's a risk here. Like I said. I'll I'll try to get you out of here in as many pieces as you have left.
Good. Good. Thanks. I appreciate the expertise.
Lila, your phone is playing an ad
Mm-hmm.
that it's picking up, and it's the ad starts out looking for a way out.
Well, hello there.
Mad City Exteriors has what you need. Doors,
Okay.
windows, covers. Find the best possible exit you can. And it will show it'll show a little location, a little sort of very, very actually futuristic looking little storefront.
Okay.
Um,
Someone does not want to lose me to the competition.
and
This might be cool.
it'll even show you a little arrow pointing you in the direction of that it says you should go if you want to go there.
Well, I think we've got a direction.
Okay. And Dawson will kind of like... should we... We should find Izzy first? Or do you want to go there?
We should find Izzy. Then we'll
Okay.
find our door.
Okay.
Maybe we'll try the coffee if it's not too expensive.
Okay.
Otherwise, I can just sing really loud to keep us awake.
I think... Yeah, I don't know. Like... Out of character. Do we have a plan for actions to take that don't involve finding our third missing party member? Not really. Huh.
Oh, are you asking me?
Well,
Are you asking Alyssa?
I mean, yeah, both,
I-
but just like,
I have no plans, so I mean,
yeah.
I have no plans. I just do
gonna
stuff.
wander around until we have more players. Although I assume we'll be wrapping for the night soonish.
It's coming.
Yeah. If we're gonna sit in this courtyard for a little while, then eventually I will pull out the book that I won. I might as well look at it.
Okay. You open the book, you see that it looks like you're probably quite familiar. Dawson's probably quite familiar with Ada Lovelace. And it looks kind of like her work. It does look as though she wrote it while very tired. So sometimes the handwriting isn't perfect. It's very good. But something that you will note as you're kind of starting to flip through it, is that as you're, there's it's not a very big volume, like I said, it's very thin.
Mm-hmm.
It talks, initially it's like the idea of being spirited to another place, and how it seems like the concentration of greatest fear. The hallucination of greatest fear seems to try naturally to subjugate the lesser fears.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's talking about that, and you're sort of looking at it, you come across, but it talks about things being in balance, or rather, it talks about things being often out of balance. And then on the next page, you turn, and you see someone has put a sticky note. And it says, this is prior to District 13. The scale has toppled. And it is signed very familiarly with the initials JD. And I think that is where we are going to conclude for the evening.
Cool.
So, we are, how are we doing?
Great.
We are doing okay? We're doing all right?
Oh, yes. I got a blackberry from a rat today.
Yeah.
I don't know,
All right. Well then, we have come to the end of our time for this evening. Thank you for thank you both of you for bearing with me as we decided as we decided to turn right. Or did we turn left? I don't know. But it was I find it very interesting and sort of neat to be able to do kind of more things that when we have fewer players, it's you can do more intimate character deep dives, and I like that a lot. But we're gonna go ahead and go around and do our outros. You can feel free to tell folks where they can find you and any other thoughts you might have about this session. And we'll go in reverse order. So we will start with Olivia.
Yes, I have been Olivia. You can find me on Twitter at CryOutOlivia. You can also find me on the Actual Play podcast, Material Components, which can be found where podcasts are found. I had a really good time. Thank you, Alyssa, for letting me steal a lot of that spotlight. But I am really liking the mechanics of this game, and still in the process of kind of figuring them out, but really loving like how the how the dominating pools like really affects what happens next, and makes the consequences flow in a really neat way. And so yeah, I'm having a great time. And thanks so much, everybody who's been hanging out with us.
Hey, awesome. Very cool, very cool. I like that we got to explore more of Dawson's story this evening, actually. That was really awesome.
Yeah.
And as we can see, there are more layers being peeled away on this whole thing. And now we are going to head over to Alyssa.
Hey everybody, I have been your friendly virtual spinner of yarns and teller of tall tales. You can find me on the internet at Shawl Tales. This is the only streamed game I have going on, so I am really enjoying the chance for Lila to just play support to another cast of new characters, and revisiting some old memories of hers. And yes, I'm looking forward to seeing how it all unfolds.
Cool. Me too, absolutely. Yeah, it's very cool, very cool. I kind of like doing it. It's sort of, I kind of think of this was kind of a little bit of a more chill session in some parts. But there were still threats, but they were just more sort of they were a little more removed. But we'll see what happens when we have Sarah,
full team.
and Ben. Yeah, when we actually have everyone back, hopefully, and we start seeing what happens with them, and we get to see what they've been up to. So who am I? I'm Jim. I am a writer, streamer, and podcaster. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch and in most other places. On Twitter for the next few minutes, probably, at the very least.
Yeah.
But anywhere that I'm not OtherDoc, I am Jim. Yes, that Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and various other things. So this week, as it turns out, there is in the United States the Thanksgiving holiday going on, and so folks are having a few scheduling thingies happening, and also, I mean, there's a lot of real life going on with folks. So ordinarily we would be doing Cult tomorrow, but again, because of the timing and all that, we're going to need to push it off. I think we're not going to have many folks available, so it's looking like we're going to be going in 2 weeks to try to come back to that early December. And again, same thing's happening with Dune on Wednesdays, so that's not going to be this week. That'll be next week. And then the Friday, the Outer Veil group looks like they'll mostly be available, so we're going to try to continue with that. They're actually, it's funny because your character's orbit has brought you closer to where they are in the city somewhat. But we'll see where, but they're also heading in the same direction, so we'll have to see kind of how things go. But it's interesting to see what's happening there. So what am I doing? Anything else? So that's what's happening here. Coming up, we are working on, also in early December, hopefully having our Invisible Sun post-mortem Q&A session. We're zeroing in on a date and time, just trying to get everything together. So hopefully we'll have that sorted soon. And I'll have more official announcements about that as we get closer. But that's everything. So folks, I thank you very much for hanging out. I very much appreciate it. And you all take care. And we will catch you next time. Farewell.